Ma'am, you're on the live screen. Ma'am, you are on the live screen. Ma'am, am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Now am I audible?
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so in the last class, we discussed a lot about contract law, right? We discussed essential elements of valid contract and we also discussed how a contract is made, right? I think that was clear. Let's take a fast review of whatever we studied in the last class. We just studied that if you want to make a valid contract, what are the essentials? What are the requirements? Like there must be consideration, there must be legal relationship, agreements must not be of social nature or domestic nature, etc. This all we discussed in the last class. Today we'll be discussing about types of contracts. We studied in the last class that if all the essential elements are present in a contract, then it is considered as a valid contract. But what if essential elements are not present? Then what kind of contract will be there? So contracts are of many types. One we have discussed already, that is valid contract. But other than valid contracts, there are many different kinds of contracts also. Um they are bifurcated on various bases. First, uh, a contract is based on formation. On the basis of formation, contract is further divided into two categories. One is express contract and other is implied contract. Now let us discuss what express contract is and what an implied contract is. Firstly, express contract. Whenever you are using words, whenever words are used, then we say that it is a express contract. Now words could be oral also and written also. Okay, so if words are used in any kind of contract, they are considered as express contract. Like for example, I said I want to sell my book for rupees 100, for example. Here I am making a contract by using words, right? I used words that I want to sell my book for rupees 100. So here I am making an express contract. Okay. So whenever words are used, either oral or written, anything. Okay. If I emailed you that I want to sell my book for rupees 100, here I am using words, but how I'm I'm giving you offer, I'm trying to make a contract using written words. So either if is there is any oral words or written words, contract is known as express contract. Now you'll be wondering that every contract will have words, no? Then how, what kind of concept is this? Every contract need not have words. Somewhere things are very implied. They do not need to tell you that you have to do like this or you have to do like that. Like for example, if you are traveling in an auto rickshaw, okay, auto has a meter system, right? You told auto wale bhaiya that I want to go at a certain place, suppose XYZ. I want to go to XYZ. Here you'll sit in the auto, there are meter charges, everything is decided that per kilometer charges will be so and so rupees. Here you do not have to use words that if I am driving with you, sorry, if I am riding with you, then I will pay you rupees this, rupees that. No, things are implied here. If you're sitting in the auto, if you're taking services of that auto rickshaw wale bhaiya, then it is quite obvious that you'll have to pay for the services, right? You cannot say that, oh, is there anything like that that I'll have to pay if I went somewhere? No, you cannot say that. In these kind of contracts, words are not used. You are not pre-deciding things. है ना? It is implied that if you are using auto rickshaw services, then the contract will be valid. Then the contract, it is implied that you'll have to pay some rupees to the auto rickshaw wale bhaiya. So this is an implied contract. The difference between express contract and implied contract is that express contract contains words, either oral or written. But in implied contracts, these contracts are decided on the basis of actions. The actions you do, the gestures you do, on this basis, these contracts are decided. So there is no use of words in implied contract. Whenever there is a, let's take one more example of implied contract, then it will be clear. Like for example, if you're going to a restaurant, right, and you are ordering food. If you're going to a restaurant and you're ordering food, the amount of food you will be having, there are charges for that, right? Waiter will come and just ask you, what do you want to have for your dinner, lunch, whatever. He will not tell you that if you want to have soup, it will cost rupees this, it will, that is not mentioned, right? But yet it is implied that if you are taking services of that restaurant, if you are having food there, then things are implied that you'll have to pay for the amount of food you had. Like for example, if I had a pizza, then I'll have to pay for the pizza. I will not say like that, you did not mention me earlier, you did not use words like you'll have to pay for the pizza. There is menu card in front of you, na? Hai na? So there is price decided there. So in these kind of contracts, there are no words used. Things are implied that if you're taking services of somebody, if you're taking advice from somebody, if you're taking something from somebody, then there things are implied there. There is no need to use words there that if you are using my services as an auto rider, then you'll have to pay me so and so amount. No, you do not have to use words. Things are implied there. So express contract, on the basis of formation, contract is divided into two parts. One is express contract where words are used, and another is implied contracts where words are not used. Gestures are used, actions are used. Okay, so on the basis of formation, there are two kind of contracts. The next category of contract is based on enforceability. That is, can you take these contracts to the court of law or not? And the meaning of enforceability we already discussed in the first class, right? To make it clear, enforceability means something which could be taken to the court of law, and later on a valid case can be filed on those contracts. So on the basis of enforceability, first kind of contract is valid contract that we had already discussed in the last class. Valid contracts are those contracts which has all the essential elements present in that. Essential elements that we discussed in the last class, that there must be consideration, there must be lawful offer, there must be lawful acceptance, the object must be lawful, you have to fulfill other necessity elements, etc, etc. Whatever that, those 10 points that we already discussed in the last class. If a contract contains all those points, then it is said that your contract is a valid contract. Next kind of contract is void agreement. Here I'm not using word void contract. I'm using word void agreement. So this is anyhow not a contract. And if it is not a contract, it is not enforceable, right? We already discussed in our first class that when enforceability is added to an agreement, then only it becomes a contract. So here the word used is void agreement. So anyhow, this is not a contract, so this will not be enforceable. That is, these will not be taken to the court of law. So what are void agreements? Void agreements are those agreements which are void ab initio, which are void ab initio. Now, what is void ab initio? Void ab initio means void from the very beginning. Those agreements which are void from the very beginning, that is, since the time they are made, they are not correct. Those are void agreements. Like I already told you in the last class that you are not allowed to enter into a valid contract with a minor, right? Minor, a person who has not attained the age of 18 years. So basically you are not allowed to enter into a contract with a person who has not attained the age of 18 years. So if you are making any agreement with a minor, then it will never be enforceable in the court of law. Why? Because law clearly states that you cannot enter into an agreement with a minor. So void agreements are those agreements which are void from the very beginning. Here an agreement with minor is a void agreement, that is void ab initio, void from the very beginning. These agreements could not be rectified in future. ये agreements future में जाकर सही नहीं की जा सकती है. Okay, so these agreements can never become a valid contract. So void agreements are those agreements which are void from the very beginning, which are void from the starting. Next is voidable contract. Now the term used here is voidable. There are two words, void and able. Okay, so what does this voidable contract means? Sometimes a party does not want to enter into a contract with you. Okay, like in the last class I took an example that if I want to sell you my property, if I want to purchase your property, the worth of your property is rupees 1 crore. I offer only rupees 1 lakh to you. I told you that I want to purchase your property for rupees 1 lakh. But the actual valuation of this property is rupees 1 crore and you denied. You said, no, I don't want to sell this to you because you are charging very low to me. And I don't want to sell my property at such a lower price. When you said no, I just pulled out a gun from my pocket and I kept that gun on your head. Now I told you that you are giving me this house or not. If you are not giving me, then I'll blow your head off. Here, you have two options. Either you get scared and accept the offer because of this influence, or you said no, I will anyhow make this contract. I will anyhow will not make this contract happen and I don't want to enter into any kind of contract with you. So in these situations, when one party has options, either he can accept the contract or rescind the contract. That is, I don't want to enter into contract with you. Such contracts are known as voidable contracts. So what are voidable contracts? Voidable contracts are those contracts where one party, and that one party will always be the aggrieved party. Aggrieved party means a party who is facing some loss. Okay. So voidable contracts are those contracts where one party has an option. What option does that party has? The party has an option either to accept the contract or to rescind the contract. That is, accept or reject. It is up to that party. So where a party, that is aggrieved party, has such options available, then those contracts are known as voidable contracts. Now what are voidable contracts? Voidable contracts are those contracts where one party, only one party, and that too the aggrieved party, has an option either to accept the contract or to rescind the contract, that is to reject the contract. Such contracts are known as voidable contract. Remember one thing, only one party has this option. The other party does not have this option. Okay, so if I am telling you that please sell your house for rupees 1 lakh and I am using this, that is pistol, to make you enter into the contract, then you have this option available with you that either you can accept the contract or you can reject the contract. But same option I don't have. I do not have any option available with me. Okay, so only one party has this option, either to accept the contract or to rescind the contract, reject the contract. Okay, and then that one party will always be the aggrieved party. Another kind of contract is void contract. Now remember one thing, students, we discussed void agreements earlier. Now we are discussing void contracts. There is difference between both. Okay, I'll tell you what the difference is after making you understand what a void contract is. Void contracts are those contracts which are valid from beginning. When these contracts were made, in their initial stages, these contracts are valid. But further, when it moves further and when the chance of performance comes, something happens and now performance could not be possible. So these contracts are known as void contracts. Let's take an example. Like for example, I want a car which is not made in India. For example, Mercedes, a limited edition Mercedes. I want a limited edition Mercedes. I ordered this car from USA. I ordered this car from USA. While I made the contract was valid. I told the agency, Mercedes agency, that I want to purchase this limited edition car for so and so rupees. For example, I paid some advance money also. They told me that your car will be delivered to your home place on 17th of November. On 17th of November. Now what happens when the car is sent out of showroom? When the car is sent out of showroom, in the midway, the car met with an accident. The car met with an accident. Now what happened? The car got fully damaged, fully destroyed. That cannot be recovered. That cannot be reassembled. It is damaged like that. Now this car was limited edition. Once in the starting, when I made the contract was valid, right? But after some time, when there is a chance of performance, something happens, something unavoidable circumstances happens. So now the performance of contract could not be possible. These kind of contracts are known as void contract. So void contract are those contracts which are valid in the beginning, but later on it ceases enforceability. That is, these contracts could not be now enforceable because subject matter is destroyed or performance is not possible or the party made themselves impossible to perform. Okay, so in such circumstances, the contract is known as void contract. So now the difference between void agreement and void contract, the very basic difference between both the terms is, firstly, void agreements are void from the very beginning. They are void from the initial level itself. You are making you are making a contract with a minor and you are not allowed to make a contract with a minor. So on the first stage only you are making a mistake. You are entering into a wrong kind of contract. You are trying to enter into a wrong kind of contract. So these are void agreements. That is, they are void from the starting, void ab initio, void from the very beginning. But on the other hand, void contracts are not void from the very beginning. They are valid in the initial stages when they are made. These contracts are valid when they are made, but later on it ceases its enforceability. That is, it lacks enforceability due to unavoidable circumstances. Okay, clear? Next kind of contract we have is unenforceable. The term unenforceable itself explains its meaning. Unenforceable means it will not be able to enforce itself. But an unenforceable contract is a contract which has small defects, which have very small defects, which can be rectified, now because these contracts have those small defects, that is why these contracts could not be taken to the court of law. Like for valid essential elements of a valid contract we were discussing in the last class. The last point of that was a contract must also contain all the other legal formalities. Now, for example, I purchased a property. Okay. So it is very essential that whenever you are purchasing a property, you need to get that property registered by your name or by whatsoever name you are purchasing on. So I did all the formalities. Just a small mistake I made, that I forgot to attach a stamp paper. Okay, whenever you are making contracts related to property, it is very essential that you attach a stamp paper with that contract. So there, now I made just a small mistake, that I forgot to attach the stamp paper with the contract papers. Here, this contract is known as unenforceable. Now, I'll not be able to take this contract to the court of law because just it has a small defect. Okay, so unenforceable contract are those contracts which contain small defects, which have very small defects. And if these small defects are rectified, then unenforceable contract will be converted into a valid contract. Okay, so unenforceable contracts are those contracts which contain small defects, which contain small technical errors. Okay, and once these technical defects are rectified, these technical defects are easily rectifiable. Okay, they can be rectified. So once these technical defects are rectified, they will be converted into valid contract. So there is difference between void agreement and unenforceable contract. Void agreements can never be rectified, but unenforceable contracts can be rectified because these contract contains only small technical defects. Okay, so if your contract contains any small technical defects, and that too those defects which can be rectified in future and are capable of converting themselves into a valid contract, are known as unenforceable contract. Last kind of contract in this category is illegal contract. Illegal contract are those contracts which are not legal. So penalty could be charged against you, prosecution could be charged against you, you could be sent behind bars if you enter into these kind of contracts. Illegal contracts are those contracts which IPC forbids. Now, what is IPC? IPC is Indian Penal Code. Certain activities, certain code of conducts are defined in IPC. I will not go to that level because this is not the part of your course. Just for general knowledge, I was discussing IPC with you. Okay, so if something is not allowed by IPC and you are doing such acts, like for example, I'm entering into a contract with Mr. XYZ, telling him to murder Mr. B, Here, murdering somebody is forbidden by IPC, or contracting to murder somebody is forbidden by IPC. So if you're entering into such kind of contracts, these contracts are known as illegal contracts. So, for example, if something is banned in your country and you are dealing in those goods which are banned, like for example, plastic is banned in Rajasthan. Okay, so if I am selling plastic in Rajasthan, then it will be an illegal contract. Why? Because I am selling those goods which are banned by the government. So if you are entering into any kind of contract which the government has banned or which the IPC forbids, those contracts will be considered as illegal contracts. And illegal contracts can render yourself into trouble. Okay, because if you are a part of any illegal activity, you will have to face many consequences. So these were the 6 categories that were under the head contract based on enforceability. Next kind of contracts are based on the method of formation. Formal contracts or simple contracts. Basically, formal contracts are those contracts which do not have consideration, which could not have consideration. So for example, sorry, not for example. So in the other class, that is in the last class, we discussed that consideration must be there in a contract. That is, both the parties must get something in return, right? If they are not getting something in return, then contract will not be valid. So formal contracts are exception to this rules. In formal contracts, there is no need of consideration. If the contract lacks consideration also, then also the contract is valid only. But the if you get time, just go through the Bare Act. When you'll go through the Bare Act, you'll read that, you'll get to know that formal contracts are not defined in the Indian Contract Act. They are not considered in Indian Contract Act. Why? Because they lack the very essential element, that is consideration. Okay, so Indian Contract Act says that formal contracts are no contracts, but theoretically formal contracts are those contracts which are like for example, contract, if you made any contract under a seal, like for example with a company. If you are making a contract with a company cannot sign, right? So what the company will do, despite of signature, company will add either digital signature or company will have its common seal. So here consideration is not required. So formal contracts are basically not included. The definition of these contract is not given in Contract Act. This is just for your explanation. And another type of contract is simple contract. All the other contracts which are not formal contracts, that is, except for formal contracts, all the other type of contracts are considered as simple contracts. Okay, so simple definition of simple contract is, simple contract are those contracts which are not formal contracts. Okay, other than formal contracts, all the contracts are considered as simple contracts. Next is on the base of extent of performance. If we talk about performance, then on the basis of performance, the contract is divided into two categories. One is executed contract and another is executory contract. Okay. Now what is executed contract? When both the parties, that is the parties to the contract, when both the parties have completed their respective obligation, it is said to be a executed contract. Like for example, I told you I want to sell my book for rupees 100. Okay, so you accepted, okay, I'll buy your book for rupees 100. I gave you my book, you gave me rupees 100. I completed my obligation, you also completed your obligation. So this is an executed contract. When both the parties are free from their respective obligation, when both the parties have completed their respective obligation, then those contracts are considered as executed contract. Okay, so basically I can say that when a contract is completed, then it is known as executed contract. Next is executory contract. Executory contract are those contracts where one party or both the parties have yet not performed their respective obligation. Like for example, if I transferred the book to you, but you did not paid me for that book till now, then this contract will be termed as executory contract. That is, I completed my obligation, that is, I gave you the book, but you did not give money in return. That is, you did not completed your respective obligation. So this is an executory contract. Or if I did not give you the book and you also did not give me the money, this is also an executory contract. So executory contract are those contracts where one party is yet to be performed or both the parties are yet to be performed. Those contracts are known as executory contract. I will repeat. Executed contracts are where both the parties have completed their respective obligations. And executory contract are those contracts where obligation is due on behalf of either one party or both the parties, where the contract is yet to be performed on behalf of one party or both the parties. The contract are termed as executory contract. Okay, so difference between both is executed contracts are those contracts where both the parties have given their performance, but in executory contract either both has not given performance or one party has not given its performance, has not completed its part. Okay, so very easy. Next kind of contract is on the basis of obligations. On the basis of obligation, we have unilateral contract, bilateral contract, and multilateral contract. Unilateral contract. Now, these contracts could be categorized as executory contract only. Why? Because I'll explain this and then you'll understand why I was saying like that. Unilateral contract are those contracts where one party has completed its respective obligation, but other party is yet to perform its obligation. I gave you the book, but you did not give me the money. So here, one party gave its performance and other party had not given his performance till now. This is a unilateral contract. So unilateral contract is a contract where one party is free from its obligation, but the other party is not free from its obligation because that party has not given his performance yet. And bilateral contract is that contract where none of the party has given their performances. Neither I gave you the book nor you gave me the money. So that is why, because in executory contract, what we discussed, that executory contract are those contracts where either one party's performance is due or both the parties' performances are due. Similarly, executory contract can be further divided into two parts, unilateral contract and bilateral contract. Unilateral contract is a contract where one party has given its obligation, where one party has completed its respective obligation, but other party has not performed its respective obligation till now. And in bilateral contract, both the parties have not given their respective performances. When both the parties has not performed their respective obligation, those contracts are known as bilateral contract. Third kind of contract in this category is multilateral contract. Multilateral contract, sometimes there are more than two parties involved in a contract. Like for example, I told you that I want to sell my book to Mr. A and Mr. B both. Here there are three parties to the contract, Mr. A, Mr. B and me. So this is a multilateral contract when there are more than two parties. When there are more than two parties, it is known as a multilateral contract. These contracts are very complex. That is, you cannot decide there that it will be unilateral or bilateral because there are more than two parties. So these contracts are very complex and they are generally of international character. So multilateral contracts are those contracts in which there are more than two parties. So today we discussed various kinds of contracts. Like if a contract is not a valid contract, then what else the contract will be called as? On the basis of different scenarios, on the basis of different situation, we can bifurcate contract. If the consent is not free, that is, if one party is forcefully making the other party enter into the contract, then those contract will not be a valid contract. Then what will be it called? It will be known as a voidable contract. So these are many categories of contracts that we have discussed today. Next topic will be offer and acceptance. Next topic will be offer and acceptance. Like I already told you that don't worry if you did not understood anything, because everything will be taught separately in future. Every point will be a chapter in the future, right? So the first point of essential elements of the valid contract was there must be lawful offer and lawful acceptance, or I can say there must be proper offer and proper acceptance. So how a proper offer is made or how a proper acceptance is made, we'll be discussing in these two chapters. First is offer. The meaning of offer we have already discussed in the first class. Offer means when one person shows his willingness to another. When one person shows his willingness to another to obtain. I told you that if you forget the definition also, don't forget the keywords. If you forget the keywords, then there is no use. So the definition of offer was when one person signifies his willingness to another to do or to abstain from doing something with a motive to obtain the assent of that another person, there he is said to make an offer. Now, offer is also divided into different categories. There are 5 types of offers. There are 5 kinds of offer. One is general offer, another is specific offer, third is counter offer, fourth is cross offer, and fifth is standing offer. Now what these offers are, we will discuss today. First type of offer is general offer. When you give offer to the public at a large, when you give offer to many people at a time, this is a general offer. For example, my dog is lost. Okay, so I gave an advertisement in the newspaper that a brown color golden retriever, height so and so, weight so and so, features so and so has been lost. Whosoever will bring this dog to my mansion will be given a reward of rupees 501. So here I am asking many people. I am asking many people to search my dog and bring him back to my home. So whenever you are making an offer, whenever you are making an offer to a public at a large, to many people at the same time, those offer are known as general offer. General offer could be accepted by any person. General offer could be accepted by any person who has the knowledge of the offer. Who has the knowledge of the offer. Now, for example, I gave a newspaper in the ad. I gave an ad in the newspaper that whosoever brings my dog, I'll reward rupees. I'll give rupees 501 to that person. Now, what happens? My neighbor had no knowledge about this offer. My neighbor did not read newspaper. But while he was walking one fine day, he found my dog and he recognized that this is Megha's dog. And he came to my home and along with the dog and handed over the dog to me, that I saw this dog there, he was roaming there and I recognize him that this is your dog, so I bring it along with me. So here this neighbor did not had any knowledge of the offer, so I am not entitled to give a single penny to my neighbor. Why? Because my neighbor had no knowledge of the offer. So acceptance can never be given before offer. Now neighbor did not had knowledge of offer. He just did it by his own. He just found my dog and he gave me back. He brought this dog home, but he did not had the knowledge of offer. So this will not be a general offer for him, for the neighbor. Why? Because he did not had the knowledge. He cannot accept this offer. Why? Because a person who does not have the knowledge of this offer can never accept the offer. A renowned case law happened here. The name of the case was Carlyle versus Carbolic Smokeball Company. Carlyle versus Carbolic Smokeball Company. Now what happened in this case? There was a lady named Mrs. Carlyle. There was a lady named Mrs. Carlyle. And it was at that time when there was influenza in Europe, USA, I guess. USA was facing crisis at that time. In USA, influenza was spreading very fast. Everybody was getting contacted with influenza. Influenza is a kind of disease like corona happened in India right now a few years back. Just like that, one disease happened which was known as influenza, where people used to get cough and cold and were dying. So what happened? This Carbolic smoke ball company. Carbolic was a pharmaceutical company. This pharmaceutical company invented a medicine for influenza and named that medicine as smoke ball. What did this company did? This Carbolic company made a medicine and named that medicine smoke ball. And then this company gave an advertisement in the newspaper that I have made a medicine known smoke ball, and I am saying that if anybody intakes this medicine, they will never contact influenza. And if after taking this medicine also, if somebody contacts with influenza, if somebody faces influenza, then that person will be given a reward of $500 US. That will be rewarded $500 US. Now what happens? Mrs. Carlyle read this ad in the newspaper, and because this disease was spreading very fast, she was quite scared. She went to the pharmaceutical shop near her and purchased this smoke ball. She came home, she intaked that medicine, but after some days, she contacted influenza. After getting some recovery, this lady went to the company and told that you made a general offer. Basically you made a declaration that whosoever will intake my medicine will never contact influenza. I took your medicine as per the dosage, as per the dose written on your packaging. I took it very seriously. I took it in the same manner written on the package, but still I contacted influenza. So now please give me reward of $500 US. The company denied. The company told that I did not give the offer to you. So Mrs. Carlyle filed a case against Carbolic Smoke Ball Company, and the decision was taken that because this Carbolic Smoke Ball Company has given a general offer, told public at a large, and Mrs. Carlyle, because she read this ad in the newspaper, she was the member of public. She accepted your offer, and now you are bound to give performance. That is, if she contacted influenza, now you are bound to give $500 US to Mrs. Carlyle. So here, Carbolic Smoke Ball Company got defeated, and Mrs. Carlyle won the case and was entitled to receive the compensation from the Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. So this is a case of general offer. General offer is a very simple offer. Here you are making an offer to the public at a large. You are making an offer to many people at a large, and anybody can accept your offer who is the member of public, who had knowledge of your offer. That person can accept. Anybody can accept your offer. Only one condition is that before accepting, you must have the knowledge of the offer. If you're not having knowledge of the offer, then this will not be a valid offer. So first kind of offer is general offer. Second is specific offer. Specific offer is quite opposite of general offer. In general offer, you are addressing many people at a large. But when I'm talking about specific offer, it is given to a specific person or a specific group of person. Like for example, I told Mr. A that I want to sell my book for rupees 100 to you. Here I am making an offer to Mr. A only. So I am making an offer to a specific person, to a specified person I am making an offer. So this is a specific offer. Or I gave a ad in the newspaper that I want to color my home. I want to get my home colored. So all the painting agencies, paint wali agencies come and give their quotations to me. So I'll decide the best price, best offer, and I'll appoint them as a I will give this contract to that person. So here, now don't get confused here. This is because this is given in newspaper. This is addressing many people at a large. Does not mean that this is a general offer. Why? Because here I am targeting only one group of society. That is only those agencies which are dealing with paint. Right? I am not giving this offer to the entire public. I am giving this offer to a specific group of public, to a specific group of public. So whenever you are giving an offer to a specific person or specific group of people, then it is known as special offer or specific offer. Next kind of offer is cross offer. This is a very identical situation. This is a very illusory situation. What happens here? Here there is an exchange of two identical offers. Like let's take an example first, then we'll understand what a cross offer is. Like for example, I emailed you that I want to I want to sell my book for rupees 100 to you. Meanwhile, you did not have the knowledge of this offer. You did not know that I am making you any offer. Meanwhile, you also gave me the similar offer that I want to purchase your book. I want to purchase your books for rupees 100. Now, what happens here? I want to sell my book for rupees 100 and you want to purchase my book for rupees 100. I did not have the knowledge that what is going in your mind, and you did not have this knowledge that I'll be making you any offer. So here what happens, there is a cross, that is two identical offers are made at a similar time. So this is a mere coincidence. So cross offer are those offers where two identical offers. Identical means very similar. If I told you that I want to sell my book for rupees 100, but you emailed me that I want to purchase your book for rupees 90, then this will not be a cross offer. 100, if I am telling you the price 100 and you are also telling me price 100, then only this will be a cross offer. So what a cross offer is, when two people exchange similar offers, when two people exchange identical offers at the same time without having knowledge of each other's offer, is a cross offer. So it is just an illusory situation. There is a very, very rare chance of happening this, because this is a mere coincidence. So what is a cross offer? A cross offer is an offer where two identical, that is very similar, bilkul similar offers are exchanged without having knowledge of each other. Now, because two similar offers are exchanged does not mean your offer is being accepted. No, you'll have to follow that similar process, that offer, then acceptance, then agreement. If both the parties are giving same offers to each other, does not amount to acceptance. Next kind of offer is counter offer. Counter offer is favorite offer of Indians. Why? Because we do not accept things as it is. We need to add our spices, our tadka in that, and then we'll accept something. Like for example, I went to a market, okay, and I told bhaiya that I want to purchase a Kanjivaram silk sari. I want to purchase a Kanjivaram silk sari. Now that bhaiya showed me many options. I selected a sari. I told bhaiya that how much does this sari cost. Bhaiya told me that this sari is of rupees 10,000. I said, no, bhaiya, 10,000 is very much. This is the price of this sari. I've seen this saris earlier, and 10,000 you're charging me very high. So after lots of discussion, bhaiya told me, no, okay, take it in 9,000. I don't know. I will give only 5,000 of this, not a single penny above 5,000. So after deep conversation, after deep discussion, we came to a point where we decided that I will purchase the sari for rupees 4,500. I will purchase the sari for rupees 4,500, and that bhaiya also agreed. Okay, if you want to purchase the sari for rupees 4,500, take it. Now what happened here? Initially, at starting, the offer was made for rupees 10,000. The offer was made for rupees 10,000. But but the other party did not accepted the offer as it is. Did not accepted the offer as it is. The other party changed the terms and conditions of the contract, or the other party changed the price of the contract. So whenever you are not accepting the contract as it is made and you are adding something of your own, then these offers are known as counter offer, where you are not accepting the offer as at first time when it is made. You change the terms and condition of the contract, or you change the price of the contract, or you are doing a contract with other party, or you are making an offer to other party. If there is any change in the original contract and a new contract is made, if there is any change in the original offer and a new offer is made, then that offer will be known as counter offer. So a very common question come into your exam, that what is a counter offer? The answer is counter offer is merely the rejection of original offer. Counter offer is merely the rejection of original offer. Here the offer is not accepted as it is. Here the offer is not accepted as it is, but here the terms and conditions of the offer or something is changed. So the offer now new offer is the new offer is made. So counter offer counter offer is an offer where the terms and conditions are changed, where the offer is not accepted as it was made. So this is a counter offer. Bargaining is the best example of counter offer. I repeat, bargaining is the best example of counter offer. And we Indians love to bargain. That is why I told you that bargaining. That is why I told you that counter offer is our favorite offer. Okay. So last kind of offer is standing offer. Standing offer is just like general offer or specific offer, but what makes it different from these two is here time limit is mentioned. An offer which is open for a limited period of time is known as standing offer. An offer which is open for a limited period of time is known as a standing offer. Now, for example, if any company, for example, a government company wants to make wants to make a highway, for example. Now, what this company will do, this company will give an advertisement in the newspaper that from Tamil Nadu to Kerala, we want to make a express highway. So those companies which who are dealing with in making these highways, please give your quotations till 15th of November. Till 15th of November. Now here, this offer can be accepted by any construction company who is expertise in constructing highways. Now this offer can be accepted by any construction company. Now it seems like specific offer, right? But what makes it different from specific offer is here time limit is mentioned. That is, you will have to accept that. You will have to give your quotations till 15th of November. If you are submitting your quotation after 15th November, then this will not be a valid acceptance. This will not be a valid offer. Why? Because clearly time limit was mentioned. So if your offer is open for a open to the public but only for a limited time, then it is known as standing offer. So the basic difference between general offer, specific offer and standing offer is that in general offer and specific offer, there is no time limit mentioned. But when we talk about standing offer always has a time limit attached to it. It will always have a time limit attached to it. That is, you will have to give your quotation in that limited time only. If that time period expires, then your quotation will not be accepted. So these are 5 types of offers that we discussed today: general offer, specific offer, counter offer, cross offer, and lastly standing offer. I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you understood everything. If there will be any query, ask me in the next class. Our next class will be after Diwali. So I wish you all a very happy and prosperous Diwali. Thank you everybody. Have a great night.